despite a slow start, the Ohio State Buckeyes were able to match their lofty preseason expectations with a win over Minnesota thanks to a second half where they grabbed control of this game, winning it 45-31. So big picture here, Brian. What'd you take away from this performance from Ohio State?
Well, it was a little uneven, but then there at the end, the great teams, you stretch it out and they get right, and that's exactly what Ohio State did. Mind you, they had 7 new starters on that defense. And so those guys, they were feeling themselves trying to figure out, okay, we're going up against this humongous offensive line of Minnesota. A lot of those cats opted out a season ago. And then you've got, Mo Ibrahim at the running back position prior to being injured, who was really running through them for the second time because he did the same the last time he faced them. They were trying to just find themselves, and eventually they did. And then offensively, Stroud, this young man, first time under center, starting the ball game. The lights come on. It's a big difference when you got a different colored jersey across from you. And he looked like a guy who was just trying to figure things out early on. But when you got studs like Chris Olave at wide receiver and Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, Maya Williams at the running back position with over 100 yards rushing, that big, long 71-yarder for their initial touchdown, that's going to help you settle down. And that's exactly what Stroud did. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Finally got his feet underneath him and calmed down and went out and played some ball. And it just proves you don't have to do everything. Yes, you come in highly touted, but you don't have to do everything because everybody on that roster for Ohio State is a 4 or 5 star.
You mentioned for Minnesota the loss, but also the performance of Mohamed Ibrahims and what he was able to do before he suffered that left leg injury. So if this is a long-term thing, what does it do, one, to Minnesota and maybe to what Mohamed has moving forward in terms of college football play?
Well, it's a big loss. We still don't know the extent of the injury, but it didn't look good. And anytime you have to leave and they have to help you off the field, and, of course, he immediately went to the locker room, that's a big jolt to that team in a negative manner, unfortunately, for that young man. So we wish him the best. But next man up, I know it's a cliche, but it's the truth. Next man up. Other folks have to step up and now fill that void, but they don't make many like Ibrahim. So you may have to use 2 or 3 guys to do what he was able to accomplish as far as that production. So we'll see how well they play moving forward. But that big offensive line, they need to play better. There were some mistakes up front, a crucial drive that was killed by multiple penalties. So they just need to now put the onus on them, no matter who's behind them. We need to play better. With all this girth up front, we need to be better people movers.
This game had all the attention, but it got wild late in Tampa or near Tampa with Orlando. UCF, Boise State, this was a crazy one. Boise State grabs an early lead, and then Gus Malzahn in his first year with UCF rallies this team from down 21. So what do you make of what Gus Malzahn was able to do in game 1 here with the Golden Knights?
Woo, I bet that little hat he was wearing, that visor was soaked with sweat. One, it's humid, especially after a rainstorm like they suffered. That's why the game was on so late. It was postponed because of all the thunder and lightning in the area. But yet, to survive that, being down 21 points, and he had to have been thinking, wait a minute, I brought Travis Williams here, defensive coordinator. I brought Big Cat Brian here with me from Auburn as well. I didn't know Bo Nix came too. I'm playing Bo, but that initial drive, they go down the field and Dylan Gabriel throws the interception, man, and the young cat from Boise runs it all the way back. That one really, really hurt, but they rallied. They were resilient, and you're going to have mistakes in the first ball game, especially with a new coach taking over, and they were able to overcome that. Gabriel righted himself, although he did have one more interception. Bowser, the transfer running back from Northwestern, he showed up in the running game, in the passing game, and Jalen Robinson, the wide receiver, was phenomenal. That defense, they finally, got some stops. So a big win, a big comeback win for Gus Malzahn and his first stint there on the sideline in the game for UCF.
Yeah, just putting a bow on this one. What do you expect from Gus in year 1 and as he tries to build his culture within this program?
Well, the fact that he has a quarterback he can believe in, and they're not going to change much with this offense. Dillon Gabriel came in with only 11 interceptions over the last couple of years. Of course, had the 2 last night. And they're naming this new version of offense under Malzahn the power spread. He still wants to run the ball, be a power running game, and still spread you out and pitch it all over the place. And they did that. It was a nice mix of that. Now clean up the mistakes, clean up the accuracy issues, or at least on 2 throws by Dillon Gabriel, and they'll get better. You always hear, Evan, the biggest transition is from week 1 to week 2, and you want to go into week 2 at least with a W, and they did that, although they had to fight mightily to accomplish that W.
In the Big Ten, you've got 12th ranked Wisconsin hosting 19th ranked Penn State. This is probably going to be low scoring, but still entertaining. Who wins?
Listen, I got to see what Penn State's working with. I know they ended the season last year after losing 4 or 5 straight on a good note, but this is a new year. And I like Wisconsin and Graham Mertz coming back at quarterback. He had this precipitous fall in his production because the wide receiver room was decimated. And Jim Leonard, defensive coordinator, come on, he's going to have a defense that's bad to the bone. Pack it up, pack it in. Badgers win.
In the Big Ten, 17th ranked Indiana visiting number 18 Iowa. BJ, this is the first time these 2 teams have met as ranked opponents since 1991. Who knows what you were doing back then? So who has the edge?
You don't want to know what I was doing in 91. It was good. I remember. Listen, these teams are evenly matched. 2 pretty good defenses and the offenses. Michael Penix coming back for Indiana off an ACL injury. If he's right, I think Indiana wins this ball game. But this is a tough one. Iowa's at home. You usually want to go with the home team when they're evenly matched. But I'm going to go against the grain and take Indiana.
This next game is a game you'll be on the sideline for. I'm doubting you're going to make any call other than go with the alma mater in Texas, but they take on another ranked opponent in Louisiana. So give us a sense of what you're expecting to see here and maybe make a pick.
Well, you're right. I'm heading to Austin for this one since we don't have a game over on CBS this weekend. But you're wrong. It's going to be hotter than fish grease. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to be on the sideline. I'm going to be up in one of them suites with an AC.
Oh, come on. You're tougher than that.
Come on. No sweat for me. I'm taking the Longhorns. Listen, this team is not built what Sark wants, but there's talent, and he stated those exact words. There's talent on this team, but they better not sleep on Louisiana. The Ragin' Cajun, just as Iowa State, what they'll do to you. They're going to come hit you in the mouth. This will be a physical football game. Texas better be ready.
Go to one of your other former teams, UCLA. They take on a ranked LSU team coming off, in UCLA's case, just a blowout win over Hawaii. This feels like a really big game for the Chip Kelly era there in Westwood. How do you see it playing out?
A great opportunity for UCLA and Chip Kelly to announce we have turned a corner. They ended the season playing well on offense. Of course, they opened the gates last week versus Hawaii, just ran all over them. But this is a different tiger, pun intended, man. I mean, you come in with Derek Stingley, Eli Ricks at the corners. Folks don't play on those corners. And they have Durante Jones, the new defensive coordinator that comes over, speaks the language of their former DC, Dave Aranda. He and Jones were at Wisconsin together for a time. So I like LSU in this ball game. UCLA is playing much better. I think they're legit. I just don't believe they can hang with this LSU team.
Over in the National League, got the Giants notched the 5-1 win over the Brewers last night, but it sets up what'll be an epic series this weekend against the Dodgers. Who do you think comes out on top in this one?
First of all, let's stop all the fighting Dodger fans. Man, what is up with these folks? They've been waiting to get back out and watch some baseball, and everybody's fighting, whether it's baseball or football. Stop it, folks. This is going to be fun. The first time in 24 years, the Dodgers and the Giants are tied at the top of the NL West in September. You know what that means? Playoff baseball is already here, baby.
The Tampa Bay Rays were taking on the Boston Red Sox. Both teams, BJ, we know, are vying for playoff spots in the American League. The Red Sox won this one behind 6 shutout innings from Eduardo Rodriguez, while Tampa still holds a comfortable lead in this division. The Yankees now have the first wild card spot. So who do you think comes away with both wild card spots at this point?
Wow. I think it's probably going to end just like it is right now because the Rays, they're a tough out. Everyone knows that. But Rodriguez has been phenomenal. So I'm not surprised he pitched as well as he did. He's been doing this for a number of years now for the Red Sox. The Yankees, of course, 31-13 in the second half of the season, tied with the Rays for the best in Major League Baseball. And that 20-8? Third best win percentage in Major League Baseball in August. But I seem to recall, maybe it was a decade ago, a 13-game win streak. A 13-game win streak. It seems forever ago because they went on to lose 4 straight, and then Garrett Cole steps on the bump, and it's lights out for the Anaheim Angels with 15 strikeouts, only giving up 1 earned run. So they need more pitching like that, of course. And they got the Orioles on the schedule next. Should be able to sweep that series. But 3 left with the Rays, 3 left with the Red Sox. Those are going to be huge if the Yankees are going to have an opportunity to win the East. I don't believe they win the East, but they can stave off Boston for that first wild card.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.